Hello aspirants, welcome to EPITOME IAS. This is Mansoor. So we are going to start NCERT series, and in this NCERT series I will be dealing geography, and in this NCERT series we will be seeing from class 6 to class 12th NCERTs. So if you see this series, mainly the focus in this series will be on keywords. So what is this keyword and what we will be doing with these keywords? So for suppose we know that any topic or else any concept, it revolve around certain keyword, and here what I will be doing is I will be summarizing all the keywords that are present in that particular chapter, and through these keywords we are going to learn the concept. Okay, if you are learning concept through keywords, what are the benefits? The first benefit is with within less time we can complete the entire NCERT series, and we can eliminate the unnecessary crap or unnecessary stories that were given in NCERTs. Okay, and at the end of the series I can guarantee you that you will be having some you will be taking out some takeaways. So if you see what are the important takeaways that you will be having at the end of the series is, or else at the end of this particular chapter is, you will be understanding basic structure of our universe, and galaxies. See, here I am talking about first chapter of 6th class NCERT. So at the end of this chapter, the important takeaways will be, you will be understanding the basic structure of universe, the basic structure of galaxies, and the basic structure of solar system. And the second important takeaway will be, you will be able to differentiate, or you will be able to distinguish important features of galaxies and universe. And the third important takeaway will be, you will be knowing or you will be understanding uniqueness of earth in supporting life. So I can guarantee you that these 3 points will be the takeaways of this particular chapter 1 of 6th class NCERT. Okay, so now without any further delay, let's move on to the first chapter. Here we will be discussing the earth in our solar system. So what is a solar system, what is the positioning of the earth in the solar system, and what are other things that are present in solar system, the entire thing we will be discussing in this particular chapter. Okay, right. So if you see our earth, the earth is in vast universe. We all know that earth is a part of universe, and in this universe you will be finding many galaxies. And if you see these galaxies consists of stars, and these galaxies consists of clouds of dust and gases. So this is the basic thing that we all know already. Okay, so now what is the point here is, the point here is I want to tell you that our earth belongs to Milky Way galaxies. There are n number of galaxies in universe, but our earth and our solar system belongs to the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, right. So now coming back to this chapter. In this chapter I summarized some important keywords, and through these keywords we are going to learn this chapter. Okay, right. So if you see after sunset, if you see the sky night, if you see the sky in the night times, what you will be noticing, you will be observing that there are many shining objects. There are shining objects, and if you see these shining objects, we can divide these shining objects as brighter and dull objects. And the all brighter objects in the universe or else in the sky, we can demarcate them as some objects will be twinkling, and there are some objects which doesn't twinkle, they simply glows. Okay, for example, if you take moon doesn't twinkle, but moon gives us light, moon will be glowing. Okay, and now the important point to be noted here is, the positioning of the moon and the shape of the moon will be different, will be changing. For suppose if you are standing on the earth and if you are observing the moon, if you are able to identify the full shape of the moon, if you are able to see the full shape of the moon, then that particular moon we call it as a full moon. Okay, what is that? Full moon. And there is another kind of moon. If you are not able to locate the moon in the sky, then that particular moon is called as new moon. Are you getting my point? Here we can tell this full moon as Paurnima and this new moon as Amavasya. Okay, right. So now we understood that the moon, which is in the sky, which is revolving around the earth, is having different shapes and it is having the different positioning. And if you are able to locate the moon, if you are able to see the complete entire moon, that moon is called as full moon. And usually what happened was, on full moon day, the brightness of the moon will be very high, and even in during night times we can feel the light of the moon will be very high. And during full new moon days, what happen is the brightness of the moon will be zero, and the night will be very darker. Okay, so that is the important point that should be noted. And in this particular chapter we should be knowing what is a celestial body. Celestial body, this is important keyword that is found in this page. So what are celestial bodies? We already know that these celestial bodies, celestial body is nothing but the sun, the moon, or the planets, the sun, the moon, the planets, and we can tell as, we can include the stars. Okay, so all the objects which are shining in the sky, in the night sky, we call all those objects as an celestial bodies. Okay, now if you observe, the first celestial body which we are talking is stars. So these stars, these stars are far away from the earth. The nearest star which is nearer to the earth is sun. So that is why even the sun is more far from the earth. Since it is nearer when compared to the other stars, the light or else the brightness of the sun will be very high. Okay, and if you observe here how the star is able to generate light, or how the star is able to produce heat, if you see the mechanism in this star, generally this star is an celestial body which generates its heat, which generates its light on its own. That means the gases present in that particular star helps to emit light, helps to emit energy. Okay, now the point here is, as we are talking about stars, we came to know that the stars are that objects which produce energy or which produce light on its own. Now if you see, there are many stars, n number of stars in universe. Okay, if you see the formations that are formed by the stars, or else if you see the patterns that are formed by the stars, if you collect all those patterns and if you are able to find out the relevant patterns, and that group of the patterns that are formed by the group of stars is known as constellation. This is also important key term. What was that? Constellations. So constellation is nothing but a pattern formed by group of stars. So in this constellation, the important constellations to be studied is one, Ursa major constellation. What was that? Ursa major constellation. And second one is a Saptarishi constellation. Saptarishi constellation. In the Saptarishi, we will be having a 7 stars. The combination of 7 stars is known as Saptarishi constellation. And if you see, in olden days, these constellations are used to find the directions. And the most important star which is used to find the direction is North Pole star, or simply we can call it as an pole star, or some people they call it as an North Star. Okay, and this North Star indicates the north direction. And as I told you earlier, this North Star can also be called as a pole star. Some people they will be calling as a North Pole star. Okay, and the important point, the important keyword, the next important keyword is regarding the planets. So what are the planets? As I told you earlier, planets are also the celestial bodies, but the thing here is they do not have their own heat and they do not have their own light. And these planets will be having these planets are lit by stars that were present in the universe. And if you see the term planet has been generated from a Greek word that is called planetae. The term planet has been generated from a Greek word called as planetae. Planetae means simply called as a wanderer. That means moving from here to there. Okay. Now, the next important term to be next important key term here is solar system. What is that? Solar system. So, if you observe the solar system, in the solar system, we will be having different kinds of objects. So, what we will be finding in a solar system? In our solar system, we will be having planets along with the sun. So, simply we can tell that sun and along with the planets which were revolving around the sun, so we call them as an solar system. Okay. If you see here, we are talking about planets, and in our solar system there are 8 planets. Okay. So what are they? One Venus, second one Mercury, third one Earth, fourth one Mars, and fifth Jupiter, sixth Saturn, seventh Uranus, and eighth Neptune. So even in these planets also, we can categorize the planets into inner planets and outer planets. So in these inner planets, we can tell that Mercury, okay, will come from the first. Mercury, second Venus, third Earth, and fourth Mars. So all the 4 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, these 4 planets are called as inner planets, and the remaining planets, that is Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. So all the remaining 3 planets are called as outer planets. So if you see here, we are distinguishing the planets as inner as well as outer. So on what basis we are demarcating or we are dividing these planets as inner planet as well as outer planets? Depending upon the asteroid belt. This asteroid belt we will be seeing in between Mars and the Jupiters. So depending upon this asteroid belt, we are demarcating the planets which are inside the asteroid belt as inner planets and the planets which are outside the asteroid belt as outer planets. And one more fact to be remembered here is all the planets that that are inside the asteroid belt, we can call them as rocky planets. Okay. And all the planets that are outside of this asteroid belt, we can call them as gaseous planet. Okay, because these planets are made up of fully gases. These planets contain a lot of rocky substances. Okay, so this is the basic distinction between inner planets and outer planets that should be remembered. So as I told you earlier, solar system consists of sun and the planets. Now we will be seeing about the sun. Usually this sun lies in center of our solar system, and around this sun the planets will be orbiting the sun. So orbit is nothing but orbit is a path around the sun in which a planet revolves. Are you getting my point? So if you see the sun will be in center of the solar system, and this sun is made up of a huge and extremely hot gases. Huge and extremely hot gases. Okay. And if you see in our solar system, the sun is the ultimate source of heat and light in the particular solar system. And the point here is, if you see the distance between Earth and the sun, if you see the Earth will be in third position. From Earth and sun, the distance will be some 150 million kilometers. Okay, this is also important point that should be remembered. Now, as I told you earlier, we are having 8 planets. In that 8 planet, the first planet will be Mercury, second will be Venus, third will be Earth, the fourth will be Mars, fifth will be Jupiter, then sixth Saturn, seventh Uranus, and eighth Neptune. So many people or many students will be finding it difficult to remember the order of the planets. So there is a mnemonic which was given in NCERT. The mnemonic is, "My very efficient mother just served us nuts." So here what we have to do is we have to remember the entire statement, and this entire statement there are a group of we know that statement is a group of word, and in this word the first letter it tells about that particular planet. Okay, and as I told you earlier, what is an orbit? Orbit is a path in which the planet will be moving around the sun. So if you see the earth, how much time it takes to complete one orbit? How much time does earth takes? Earth will be taking 365 days to complete the entire revolution. Exactly it takes 365 days to complete one revolution. And if you see the Mercury, since Mercury is very nearest to the earth, sorry, nearest to the sun, the Mercury will be taking only 88 days. How many days does Mercury take? Mercury takes only 88 days. And if you see the Venus, which is a second planet in our solar system, we can call Venus as Earth's twin. Earth's twin. Why we are calling Venus as Earth's twin? Because the shape and the size of Venus when compared to the Earth, we cannot differentiate, because the shape and size of the Venus will be similar to that of the shape and the size of Earth. And in our childhood days we used to learn that there used to be 9 planets. So what happened to the ninth planet, the ninth so-called Pluto? What happened was, this Pluto has been named as dwarf planet. The status of planet has been removed, and now Pluto has been placed as an dwarf planet. Okay, who placed it? International Astronomical Union has placed this Pluto as a dwarf planet. And now if you see about the Earth, so usually what is the shape of the Earth? We call, some people call it as circular shape, some people call it as an spherical shape, but technically speaking the shape of Earth is geoid shape. So geoid is nothing but, it itself tells that geoid is an earth-like shape. So why Earth is called as Earth? We are telling it as a geoid shape because if you see the poles, we are having a North Pole and South Pole. If you see, consider this as an Earth. If this is a North Pole and this is a South Pole, so the near poles, what happens is, near poles the shape of Earth is flat. Okay, so because of that reason the Earth shape looks like somewhat similar to this, and near equator we will be having a bulge. Near equator the shape of the Earth will be somewhat bulged, and near poles it will be flat. Okay, that is why we call it as an geoid shape. Okay, then if you see Earth, we call Earth as an blue planet. Why we call Earth as an blue planet? Because in Earth we are having a huge number of water resource. If you are seeing from the outer space, the Earth looks like a blue colored planet. So that is why we call Earth as a blue colored planet. And then we have to see about the moon. So if you see the moon, as I told you earlier, moon will be revolving around the Earth, and the time taken to revolve around the Earth is 27 days. And the point here is, the Earth is having a natural satellite, and the moon is the only natural satellite that Earth is having. So whenever I'm talking about the natural satellite, we should understand that these satellites are divided into two: one artificial satellite and second one natural satellite. Okay, artificial satellites are those satellites which were made by human beings, and natural satellites are naturally seen in the universe. And as I told you earlier, moon is one of the natural satellite for the Earth. And the point here is, the moon is not having the proper conditions to survive. So that means we are not having any atmosphere there, we are not having any suitable conditions so that human beings can be living on the Earth, on the moon. Then the important point, the next important terms are, one asteroid and second one is meteoroids. So if you see these asteroids are the tiny particles that are moving in the solar system, and particularly we will be finding these asteroids in between Mars and Jupiter. Okay, in between Mars and Jupiter we will be finding this asteroid belt, and there are other particles known as meteoroids. These are small pieces of rock which move around the sun, and while moving around the sun, these meteoroids sometimes they will be entering into Earth's atmosphere. They will be entering into Earth's atmosphere. So what happens? when these meteoroids are entering into Earth atmosphere, these meteoroids will be completely burnt off because of the atmosphere that Earth is having, and because of the gases present in the atmosphere, and only, for suppose, only few meteoroids will be falling in on the Earth. So after crossing all the barriers, the meteors which touches the ground, there we can see an impact that was created on the Earth. So those impact, or such impact, we call it as a crater. Okay, so on Earth there are many places where we can see the craters that were formed because of these meteorites. Okay, so that is the whole thing regarding the chapter 1 of 6th class. So in next class we will be seeing the chapter 2 of 6th class NCERT. So thank you so much for watching this video.